have the wonderful Laura Doty from Team Anderson Realty. And Laura, who do we have with us today?
We have Ben Perrou from RCS Remediation Consulting Services.
Hi, Ben.
Hello.
We have used, as you know, Laura, Ben for how long? How long have we been with you? Like at least 5 years.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while, and a lot of our clients, they use you whether we have a cellar and we see a crawl space that looks damp and moist, or that it could be, evaluated before we go on the market, or we get a home inspection report and there's insulation that's fallen down, it's wet or moist, or we see fungal growth, and you treat and you'll evaluate and see what you think is needed, correct?
Correct.
There are companies that will go in and they will have these insane estimates. I don't want to name names, but you seem to be more reasonable and realistic as to what you're recommending and then what the prices are. And so why is it that some of these companies are 10 times what you are charging? It seems like 10 times.
I can't speak to pricing because then, you get into the antitrust and all that.
It's not pricing. It's like they're recommending, in my opinion, like more than the client necessarily needs, but it's not being presented that way.
So we approach it as this is what you need. And then with real estate, a lot of times, especially if you're working on the seller side, you're required to do certain things, right? Mm-hmm. So I think there's the key legal term is function as intended. Mm. So we tend to price it to say, this is what you need to do to clean and correct the issue. There's a fine line between going above and beyond, right? If you call me off Google,
right,
and you say, what are my options? Then yes, you may get more things because I can try and tailor the estimate to what you want.
Right. So as a homeowner, if you want to go all out and can you seal, condition?
Well, you can seal, you can condition, but I think some of the problem is, my background is I started doing insurance restoration work for insurance companies. And there's a code, like if you go to an auto body shop or you got any insurance, they have a code for how much things are going to be.
Okay.
So it's often 30 to 40% more than market value.
Okay.
Because you have to deal with the claimant, the insurance company.
Yes.
There's a lot of overhead baked in. What some of the companies that do what we do are using those price sheets. And so they automatically look a little bit higher because they're also doing insurance restoration work.
Got it.
It's not the same, so we kind of set our own prices.
And so you're not doing insurance restoration
We do
work?
insurance restoration work, but my last year of business doing insurance restoration, we did $34 million.
Okay.
And I had 85, 95 employees.
Yeah.
And it was just too much. 3 full-time admins just to handle the money coming from the banks.
Yes.
And to the clients and doing paperwork. And I just finally had enough.
Yeah.
And I left. I brought some people with me. And we started on things. So now we're in the middle of an insurance claim on a job right now. Mm-hmm. But I say up front, this is my pricing. It'll fall within your parameters, but I'm not going to go negotiate or work with the insurance company
makes
directly.
sense. And so they'll just deal with them directly.
Yeah. Let the homeowner deal with them
you'll
directly.
provide the documentation, the estimates, anything like that.
And I know the price sheets because they're published. You can buy the price sheets every year. And every quarter, actually, they update. So I know what they're getting, what I can get paid for.
Yeah.
And as long as I stay within those parameters, I'm fine.
Oh, okay. No,
but I saw an estimate the other day where someone had they were charging 60 man hours of labor for the job as a line item. And then below it, they were charging for each line item again.
Oh.
So the estimate was already double inflated.
And that you think was on purpose? Isn't that kind of insurance fraud?
I think they were trying to up the price just to, you throw enough on the wall and
see what'll stick.
See that?
So that's not fair. But that's where if you're not educated,
there are
or you
some
don't,
unethical people and businesses, and we don't know who they are, but you are definitely a business that we trust. And we always say that we've never sent you out and you've said something that you felt or we felt was unreasonable. Yeah. It's like you explain, this is what you can do. If you really want to potentially prevent it in the future, then you can do this, like a dehumidifier or whatnot. But it's really helpful that you go into the crawl space and handle those issues. And so I did want to ask, one of the things that a lot of people don't know is they see mold in their home and they will take out bleach and they'll spray it. So tell me why that does not work and why somebody like you comes in to treat mold versus somebody that's just getting their stuff under their sink and tackling it.
So mold is a symptom of.
Okay.
It's always the second part of the problem. So remediation is, the definition is to take care of the mold or take care of the issue and the problem, right? So bleach works great. Hypochlorites work great on bacteria. They'll kill any bacteria. If you're in a flood situation, the CDC, the EPA, they say spray it with bleach.
Okay.
That kills bacteria. Doesn't work really well on mold. It'll kill the surface and take the color away.
The color, right? And
but it
people
doesn't
think
go
it's
in.
killed it.
Yeah, but it
Okay.
doesn't go into the root structure. So there are other products that we use.
So you say root structure, so it's like can go kind of dormant, but the roots being there means it can come right back out of
Correct.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just like if you've ever had the experience of having mushrooms grow
Yeah.
in your yard, you top down the tops and then they come right back
Yeah.
because the root structure is
Okay.
in the ground. And mushrooms are macrofungi. The kind of molds we deal with are microfungi. So it's a similar situation. It's called hyphae and mycelium. That's the root structure of the mold.
Wow.
And
Learning something.
so you need specialized cleaners like quaternary ammonia, which is not as crazy as it sounds.
Yeah.
And we prefer to use now hydrogen peroxide. What you buy in the store is 1%.
Yeah.
What we have is 27%.
Okay.
And
Wow.
you can get it up to 30 to 50%.
Yeah.
So it'll kill anything biological. So if you have mold on a structure, you spray the peroxide on it and it follows the biological root system and removes it all completely.
Wow. That's great.
And then the benefit behind that is it's hydrogen peroxide. So the byproducts of hydrogen peroxide are no odor, water, and oxygen.
And relatively safe, right?
It's 100% safe
Yeah.
except for the applicator.
right.
Because at those levels, it'll burn your skin on
So
contact.
you guys have to be careful,
Yes.
but spraying that into a home or around a home is much safer than some other products.
It's been a game changer to my industry in that before, if we had a little bit of mold on the sheetrock from condensation, right? We had to remove the sheetrock.
Oh, so
Now we can spray this and it'll actually go into it. Now, if you have mold on the sheetrock because of water damage,
Right.
we still have to remove it because the theory being that it got
gonna be
wet
wet.
Right.
all the way through. But if it's just on the surface, a good strong application of peroxide and then maybe a sealant on top of it, it's safe. And we can be working on this room and the next room you can have your children, your pets.
yeah.
Because it's not as toxic as long as we do our environmental controls correctly.
So one question I have is, not all black mold or fungal growth is that toxic, really scary mold, or is it?
It's not. So black is just a color.
Okay.
The scary mold, the Stachybotrys Ketonium, actually have a little bit of a purple sheen to them. So that's kind of what we can look for. But those kind of molds only grow if it's been wet for 8 to 12 days consistently.
Okay.
So those are kind of long-term molds.
Does that grow if you have like under a porch or anything where it's not in your crawl space?
No, because
if it's
not
well
a good,
ventilated.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
not a good competitor. So it has to be, moist. It just has to
So
be,
like
the area
an
has to
attic,
be
a
moist.
crawl space.
Yeah, so even in crawl spaces, it doesn't grow very well because it wants digestible cellulose. So it
Where do you
likes
find it the most? Under
cardboard and drywall,
under
interior.
a sink,
Yep,
kitchen?
under sinks in the kitchen, bathrooms.
How do you know if somebody has that toxic black mold, which is, what's the name?
Ketonium or Stachybotrys.
Okay. So how do you know? And then do you treat it any differently?
We don't treat it any differently.
Okay.
But you have to test. There's no way, even visually, I can
Got
say, I'm pretty sure that's Stacky.
And does
then
it
I have to test to
Go
make sure.
throughout the house if it's not in the ductwork? Like, how do you make sure that it's not spreading?
So remediation is careful demolition. That's the easiest way to explain it. So when mold's growing on the surface and it's happy, it's not really sporulating. Typically the sporulation comes at the end of its life cycle or when it's being disturbed.
So that's when it wants to distribute and become more like a powder.
It's a survival scheme. If it's happy, it's growing and doesn't need to reproduce that much. But if it's about to die off, it's going to ensure the next generation. So that's when the spores are released.
When do people have a problem health wise?
Everybody is exposed to mold
Right.
in the environment.
Right.
Certain people are more sensitive to certain molds.
That makes sense.
And the only way, I'm not a medical doctor, I don't pretend to be.
Right.
You have to have testing for that by your primary care or
But I'm wondering,
specialized.
like, you have some people, you hear stories where they're chronically ill, and it makes
They are.
sense that they might be more sensitive to it. But are there ever situations where it is actually widespread in a home?
Yes.
And then what type of intrusion do you find causes that?
Usually it's a adverse water event, so a pipe leak.
Okay.
Bad windows. 25 windows on a house are bad, and you've got mold behind every window and every
Oh,
wall.
I have heard about.
Yeah.
And sometimes those are hidden when they go
Yep.
underneath.
Yep.
Yep, and then rot under a house or from door jams.
Mm-hmm.
And then the primary means of getting spread is the air conveyance system.
Yeah.
HVAC spreads it.
I have used a company locally that they'll sanitize the ductwork and the HVAC. Like, does that help in addition to what you do?
Yeah, it
for
helps.
cleaning that out.
So the standard says if it's in flexible ducts, you have to remove the ducts. But there's the standard and there's practical. And I've done thousands and thousands of remediations, and people like me have done it and have found that if it's minor levels of mold, you can effectively duct clean and sanitize. It can be done.
Okay.
But if we go in a house and the levels are 30,
Or
40,
if the
50,000,
ductwork had been filleted open
Yes,
and
if
then really
there's-
circulating, it makes
yes.
sense that you would just go and replace
Like
it
we
all.
would replace it at that point. There's a fine line of where we replace it versus clean it.
Right.
Do you replace the duct or do you contract that out?
It's a code issue, so we work with HVAC.
Okay, so you
contractors.
do. So you have people that can help if they find mold in HVAC.
We don't do as much of the rebuild anymore, but we can certainly. We wouldn't just leave someone with an empty shell. I have a siding guy that I can use. I have a framer. We do drywall and paint in house. I have drywallers and painters.
Oh, I like that.
So, like, if we do a small job, we can patch it up and paint it.
Is that people that you subcontract or they're
No,
on
they're
your
my
crew?
employees.
Oh, I love that. So we can hire.
Yeah.
I got a full paint
painters
crew.
service.
and drywallers.
Yeah.
Do they go to the beach?
we just
Because I need a laundry room drywalled.
we just finished 2 jobs in Wrightsville and a couple in Oak Island. So
I have
There
a
you go.
question where I have seen some, especially oceanfront homes, there sometimes are outlets that will have a little bit of fungal growth and it bleeds through the paint. And it's like, what do you do in that situation?
So that, again, mold is a symptom of,
Right,
all right? So there's air infiltration happening.
right.
And that typically is going to happen on the wind side because it beats,
Yes.
beats
It's gonna
is
push it.
hard, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The air pressure against the siding.
Yeah.
What you can do is you can take the outlet cover off, foam or seal around the outlet.
Okay. On the inside?
On the inside and
Okay.
around the box itself. And then they make a specialized, oversized faceplate that has weather stripping on it. So you can stick it to the wall.
Minimize the airflow.
Love that.
And it stops the airflow. You're not really hiding anything. The mold is because of the differentials in
And
temperature.
if it's getting that much air, and I know you're not there to like see it, but like let's say you see a little bit of that ocean front, it's a lot of wind and elements. Is it growing rapidly or is it probably like so ventilated because of all the air?
Well, the only reason you're seeing it around the outlet is that's where it happens, right? It's not usually in the walls itself. It's just the delta between the conditioned air inside
But you
and
wouldn't
outside.
suspect that to be the toxic black mold,
No,
right? Okay.
no.
Okay.
It
That's
never-
what I'm wondering because it's
yeah,
not like
hardly ever is.
necessarily a leak, but like sometimes I have seen some outlets. I've also seen in houses, and I'm sure we've called you for these too, where you see the HVAC vent will
Yep.
have
Yeah.
black growth around
Same
it.
thing.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Almost always the second floor, and it's always with attic space above.
Is it often too, sometimes the ductwork has metal
Yeah.
flashing, is it? Or
The metal
Because it
boots
creates
sweat.
the condensation.
Yes.
Yep. The boots
And
sweat.
so that type of fungal growth is not usually the really toxic to you. I mean, you should treat it.
You should treat it, but it just depends. Sometimes it's penicillin and aspergillus, which people can be sensitive to.
Okay.
Just like if you're allergic to penicillin, right? There are a lot of people that are allergic
That
to
is
penicillin.
really interesting.
For the
I had
medicine, because it's made from
idea
the mold.
From
that
mold.
we could have fungal growth in our homes that are
My mom
from,
is allergic to penicillin, and so that's
So
why
she would
we
be
were
sensitive.
especially careful after her house flooded to make sure that we had some good mold abatement happen.
Like, that's very interesting. So there are different people that have different sensitivities to different types. Like, I might be fine with the penicillin, but I think everybody is probably sensitive to the really bad stuff, right? And numbers?
Some
No?
people, it doesn't bother them at all.
Really? But do you think it could wreak havoc internally on their immune system, or?
So yes, there are diseases that can be caused by mold, but usually we find them in the immunocompromised. Very young, very old, very sick.
Yeah.
It's just like,
It exposes
it
your
exposes
weaknesses.
a lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot of people die. You see it; they've died of pneumonia, right? I had double pneumonia this year. It wasn't fun, but
No.
but when usually they had something else going on, and the pneumonia coccicillus was able to get in their lungs and cause the illness, right?
When you're already compromised.
When you're already compromised. So there's the aspergillosis, there's all kinds of diseases, respiratory, it's usually respiratory. And it's because you already have something going on, the mold is able to get in your system and then it's able to reproduce. And mold treatments are really, really hard because they're not affected like bacteria. When you have, you can get an antibiotic.
Right.
And you're fine.
Yes.
Right.
You have to actually, I have a natural health practitioner and she tested me and I was fine with, mold levels, but it is really hard to get it out of your system. But sauna, doesn't sauna help? Like,
I don't.
Yeah, there are
could-
definitely ways, but it is not as quick as an antibiotic.
I have
for
found that different
bacterial
things
infection.
work for different people.
Yeah.
Everybody's body's a little bit unique. It's just once you are chronically affected by mold, it's really hard
to reset your system.
to reset and to find somewhere, I want to say air quotes, safe for you to be in.
right.
You're saying it could be, there's a lot of places.
Yeah.
Do you know how much your home is worth in the Triangle area, Raleigh-Durham, Charlotte, or the coastal regions of North Carolina? In this ever-changing real estate market, your home may be worth more than you think. Fill out the free home valuation form on teamandersonrealty.com to get a no-obligation, complimentary home evaluation now. Don't rely on computerized estimates or tax values. Instead, get a more accurate, current market value. Go to teamandersonrealty.com today or call 919-610-5126.
I have a past client of mine and she discovered that she had some bad, it was one of those two that you mentioned, fungal growths or mold. And she didn't discover it through an air quality test. It was through a dog. There's like these special trained dogs.
because they can
mold
smell all
dogs.
kinds of things.
And
they're expensive.
they are expensive. And
But they
I
work.
have been dismissive of them in the past until I've seen them in action. And they, they can find it.
Yeah.
It's
And-
impressive what they can be trained to
I want to
sniff
say
out.
it was hundreds of dollars an hour, but it didn't take that long. And they drove from Charlotte.
There's a company in Charlotte. There's a couple companies in Florida.
Yeah.
And they'll come up and they'll do a bunch of houses in one day.
Wow.
They do it by geographic area. And like I said, sometimes you cut open a hole and there's nothing there.
Yeah.
Yep.
And other times it's like you've had air testing and the air testing is like, we can't figure out where
And
the dog does.
These are usually people that have had air testing and they still feel sick and they just want to have another check. And then the dogs come in and they might be able to be more sensitive than.
So I'll give you an example. A couple years ago, we did a house in North Raleigh. It was, $7-8 million house, big house.
Wow.
That is a
Expensive
big house. Yes.
And it was a whole mold remediation. All 4 floors of the house. We had to do some mold remediation on each floor. All the contents were moved out. So you can imagine this is a big job.
Yes.
And the air testing, we cleared on the air testing. We did it. She did 2 rounds of testing. We cleared both of them. Well, the woman was super sensitive and said, I know there's no scientific data that said, there's no measurable data that's saying there's still mold in my house. You've torn out, we tore out every window, all the doors,
Wow.
bathrooms, demoed all 7 bathrooms. I mean, it was substantial work.
Do you mean like a full remodel in the bathrooms?
Oh, took out
Tile and everything?
tile on the floors,
Wow.
behind the cabinets.
How much was that job for them?
Roughly.
A lot.
Like
So it's not just
$500,000 or something.
I don't know what they end up
Because when
spending.
you're doing a remodel, because you're also paying people to actually redo
so it's
your
not just the
house.
cost of repair; it's the remediation's cost of repair. Like if I cut out
That
a
is
square of drywall
extensive.
in a room, generally line of sight says you're going to paint that whole wall,
Right.
or you have to paint the whole room.
Well,
Or if I
yeah.
do a ceiling
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
open ceilings, that's where the work can get real expensive with anything doing remodel.
She found, or you recommended, or she found a dog.
She brought the dog in, and the lab person and I. Sometimes these jobs get a little acrimonious,
Yeah.
People are, but she'd been very nice. Her husband
Yeah.
was super nice, and the lab person we'd worked with was really. I mean, everybody was. We wanted to make it right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so the dog comes in, goes to the whole house and doesn't smell anything, and he goes to a wall behind a laundry room and starts going crazy and marks it. And we mark it. So we set up containment. We opened the wall, and sure enough, the dryer vent had been leaking at some point,
No.
and there was mold in that one wall cavity. And the dog found it, whereas we couldn't find it in airborne
How
test.
interesting. And so after you guys finished that, she felt better?
After we finished that, we got a 3rd round of testing. It came back positive. The dog came back through.
Yes.
Everything was fine.
Wow.
We got paid. We delivered their furniture. They started with
Everything
the
went
remodel.
back.
It's nice to know that the dogs don't always find something because, it would be unsettling if it's like they can smell every teeny tiny. It's like enough to where they're like, okay, this is a problem, but, they're not overly sensitive to where they would go into any room and say, we have a mold or fungal growth problem.
No, they know. They're trained
That
to
is
sniff.
cool.
And like I said, it's a tool in your
Have you
tool belt.
recommended a dog?
I have told you kind of have to gauge
Yeah.
your customers, but I tell them that is an option.
Right.
I don't discount it.
Yeah.
If you want, by all means,
Right.
But with remediation, we have to set the parameters before the job starts,
right.
because otherwise you could be
Scope
doing.
and, yeah.
Well, and you can say, hey, I'm going to do the air testing, and when that's clear, then we're good. If you have issues down the road or you still feel like it is totally an option to bring in a dog to either confirm that we are in fact correct, we found everything, or there's one other area or some other spot that, we can address at that point. But that would be outside of the scope of work initially done.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's just like any other thing. I mean, I'm sure you have a contract when you list or sell.
Yeah.
We have a contract to
Right.
start our remediation.
Of course.
So-
Because you can go down a rabbit hole. and check.
Yeah.
So we have that. So you'll do an air test too.
We do
people-
not.
Well, when you're doing remediation, or you have companies that you
We have
recommend?
companies we use.
So you have, most people will see the crawl space. They see the floor joists have some fungal growth and they freak out. And I know that there are certain situations where, yes, it needs to be treated and it can be pretty bad down there in terms of air quality. But for the most part, we're in North Carolina. I've been told that if you don't have a sealed conditioned crawl space, you are probably at some point going to encounter fungal growth unless somebody like you has come in and treated the crawl space to prevent it, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Every house has some mold in it.
Yeah.
Every crawl space has some mold in it. So what we tend to do is we tend to be rational about it. So if the house is 40 years old and it's never had a cleaning and there's a little bit of mold on the floor joist, well, we expect that.
Right.
Clean it. We go about our business. It's just something you do, if the house is 2 years old and all the insulation's fallen and the wood's, soft and
That
you can
sounds really
green,
bad, actually.
then they might have something design issue that we need to address in the crawl space. But it's all, I don't say subjective, but it's kind of,
Case
you have
by
to be
case.
rational.
Right.
Every
Yeah.
house is a little bit different. There's always extenuating circumstances. Is this house
It's not a
different
one page
from-
fits all.
It's not a one page fits all. It's not, you don't go into every home and say, all right, we're going to remove all your insulation, putting in a new vapor barrier, putting in a dehumidifier, doing a seal crawl. They don't need that.
Right.
Right.
If I have, my house is built in 89, I think. We cleaned it.
Yeah.
We bought it. And then, I expect maybe in 30 years I'll have to clean it again.
Right.
But
So, and how are you cleaning it?
Most of the time with Crawlspaces, you're hand wiping the wood.
Okay. Yeah.
You're applying product either directly to the rag or to the wood, and then your hand.
What if
cleaning
you're
it.
like me? I'm in a basement.
You shouldn't have an issue.
So
with the
you don't
basement.
really have an issue.
The issue with basements are humidity.
Okay.
If you don't have a dedicated thermostat or a split zone system,
You're right.
you have that issue, and we see that sometimes, especially empty nesters that
When
aren't
they turn off.
Yeah, like they have their kids were on the second floor and or in the basement, and they don't go there
Oh,
anymore.
I have seen the second floor where it's hot.
Yeah.
Where people just don't use it. They want to save the money, and it's like that.
They end up creating an
conditions.
extra attic space out of it.
The two things you can do to keep mold out of your house: keep your air conditioning and your heat working properly.
Yep.
Maintains the humidity, and then minimizing or addressing any leaks that you have as quickly as you can.
And somebody like you, if they go, they're watching this and they're like, you know what? I haven't been in my crawl space ever or since I bought it. And they go in and they peek and they see some issues, they can call you.
They can call me.
And they can get an opinion and then you can give them an estimate. And it's kind of like do as much or as little as you'd like. But I think every seller, I will go and I will look in the crawl space and I will say, this needs Ben or somebody to go and address these items because a lot of the agents in the area really trust you too. You've had a great reputation on the other side of transactions where they'll say, you just did one for one of my sellers and the agent was like, oh, it's Ben's company. I'm so glad that you guys used him because I really trust his opinion and his work. And so that's really, it's good to give a reputable company. I've had sellers that are like, well, my handyman can get out and roll a vapor barrier, but like, why? Not that they're not capable, but what do you see when people have inexperienced people doing things like crawl space work? The wrong type of vapor barrier or not all the way covering or?
Most of the time it's in the remediation themselves. So they just go under there and take a yard sprayer and spray the wood. And then
they don't wipe it.
Remediation, I mean, we can be crass about it, but it's kind of like if you have pets. Everybody that has a pet can understand this analogy. If your dog has an accident on the carpet, do you just spray Febreze and leave it there?
No.
You have to remove it. So that's what remediation is. You can't just spray chemical on it. You have to remove it.
Yeah.
And that's why we have to do the cleaning. If you're not doing the cleaning,
sometimes there's staining on color, like residual staining.
We can't do anything with color.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's fine.
That doesn't mean that it's still there.
It's not active.
Right.
It's just a stain.
My invoice, my estimates, they say some staining will remain after cleaning.
I love that, yeah.
And the quick and easy is mold is 3-dimensional growth that we're worried about. So if you can rub the wood and it stains and nothing touches your hands, it's clean.
Oh, okay.
The stains are the same. And again, another analogy, if you go sliding in the grass right now or in the mud, because it's slippery outside still, and you have mud on your pants.
Yeah.
If you wash them, you may still have a stain of that mud, but they're clean. Same kind of thing with the mold.
When do you recommend a dehumidifier in a crawl space? Or are they all great
They all could have one.
Right.
But realistically, a rectangle or square foundation, 2-3 feet tall, is going to be fine.
Okay.
Because air can flow front to back, left to right. But when we have these houses that have the office in the front and the jut out kitchen and the breakfast nook and the side room, air can't go left to right, front to back. And
the more complex the footprint, it may likely need a dehumidifier
it's all about airflow.
to keep it.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
And do they still work in the winter or do they self shut off or
they
regulating
most of the ones that we install or installed professionally have an automatic thermal coupling, which means they won't work below 55 degrees. Of course, it rarely gets that cold in a crawl space, but also they have a humidity gauge. So they're only coming on when they need to.
Got
anyway.
it. So when it's the winter and it's like low humidity, they're not on.
Well, like it snowed and it was 100% humidity or it wouldn't have snowed, right? But it was 100% humidity at 25 degrees. That same amount of moisture in the air at 90 degrees would be maybe 10% humidity.
Right.
So
Oh, well, that's so interesting. Well, tell us how somebody can go and get on your website or contact you.
So we have 2 websites. We have rcsmold.com and sealedcrawlspaces.com. You can go there. There's an info tab. Hit the tab. It's got a phone number also.
Okay.
And we don't charge for inspections inside of Wake County. outside, there's a fee, but we'll credit that back. But typically, I've got 3 inspectors. We can respond within
And you'll go to the beach.
48 hours.
Somebody needs a vacation.
I know.
Yeah.
Send them.
Well, a lot of people have beach. Like if you could get enough people, in a certain area.
Well, I own properties in Brunswick County.
Oh, that's
too.
right. So you would go out there.
Well, sometimes we can fit it in, but
Love it.
maybe when I get closer to retire, my son's already. I've done this so long that I've already got an adult son
Oh my
in the
goodness.
business.
You have an
So
heir.
Wow.
at least one. I've got 2 more to go. 2 more in school still. But maybe they can take over here. I can move to the beach and work from there. But
Fun. I'll be calling you
Yeah,
up
I know,
while
right?
you're retired. Like, oh, I have issues,
Yeah.
Ben.
She's going to have you on speed dial.
Thank you so much. We have learned a lot. And of course, you're easy to contact, so other people can always ask you questions.
Yep,
Either
and
in
we
person
do
or-
pride ourselves in communication.
You are the best.
Yeah, we do return texts and calls and emails pretty quick.
Love it. Well,
Fabulous.
thank you so much, Ben.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. We'll see you soon, I'm sure.
Well, all right, thank
Business
you.
is picking up, so
Bye.
yeah.
I know.
Thanks for listening to the T.A.R. Life podcast with top producing mega agent Erica Anderson. If you've enjoyed this episode or found the content to be useful or fun, please consider leaving us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Visit our website at www.teamandersonrealty.com. We are actively serving the Triangle area, Raleigh, Durham, Charlotte, and the coastal regions of North Carolina. If you're looking to sell a home, please contact Team Anderson Realty to set up an in-person or virtual consultation today.